Well, sales of Michael Jackson's songs and albums have gone through the roof since his death. Thriller, the top-selling album of all time, soared to #1 yet again on Amazon.
Yeah, and in some places his CDs are completely sold out right now. BBC's Joe Lynham has this report.
At HMV's flagship store in London's Oxford Street, the shelves were literally bare. Jackson Mania means disappointed fans here will now have to wait until tomorrow to get their hands on his CDs, DVDs or memorabilia.
Overnight, the sales were incredible. I think we saw an 80-fold increase in demand from our customers coming in. I think their first reaction, like everybody else, we were so stunned. They think, I'll go to a record store, and just tried to get that connection with Michael, and maybe it's their way of sort of making a tribute to actually sort of try and buy the CD or the DVD.
This rush of sales means that 27 years after his first #1 album, Thriller, and 6 years since his last best-selling CD, Michael Jackson is bound for the top of the UK album charts once again with a compilation of his greatest hits. And it looks set to be joined in the top 20 by a host of other Jackson albums as well. And it's not just his albums selling well. Around 20 of his best-selling songs, including The Man in the Mirror, Billie Jean and Beat It, are expected to re-enter the singles charts today. But Jackson is also set to become a record breaker for digital downloads. He's already topping the iTunes album charts in nearly all major markets, having been the first megastar to die in the broadband era.
In a chartologist type of way, this will create new fans for Michael Jackson, because there are some people who just buy every #1 or every record that makes the top 10. And of course, people who are, say, under the age of 15, but hear the top 40 on the radio, will be introduced to this music.
Michael Jackson was a hit-making factory throughout his career, and now it looks as if he will continue to sell in vast numbers even after his death. That's good news for his cash-strapped estate, but it's also good news for Sony BMG, which owned the rights for his back catalogue, even though they had a very public falling out 7 years ago. It may take another week to get an accurate assessment of the trend, but Jackson may well end up being the best-selling artist in the world this year. Joe Lynham, BBC News.
And those booming record sales are a mixed blessing at best for Michael Jackson's estate. He was deeply in debt, about $500 million.
All right, Michael Jackson's death has triggered huge music sales as people snatch up his albums. It has also created something of a selling frenzy online for all things related to the king of pop. No surprise there. Josh Levs is here to tally it all up for us.
I guess it's not shocking, Fred, is it?
No.
No, but you have to see some of these numbers, the amounts of money people are trying to charge, especially for websites that they went and registered in the wake of his death. Let's just zoom right in. I want you to see this because what's going on eBay is crazy. Look at this. $21 million they're asking for MJsMemorial.com. No, I mean it's crazy, but this is sort of a sudden new vintage industry. People went and snatched up all these. Check this out. This one, $5 million. Let me tell you something, Fred. I was just
but you can offer this,
well,
but
yeah,
would
right.
there be any takers for a domain?
You know what? The chances that anyone's going to pay millions of dollars for a domain in this situation is really slim because you can just create a different one. People will pay for a website business associated with a domain, but paying millions and millions of dollars because someone grabbed a domain, very unlikely. But there are thousands of people trying to do it. GoDaddy, which is one of the places, GoDaddy.com, one place that registers these domain names, they told me they got 3,700 names for Michael Jackson registered in 24 hours after his death.
Wow.
And they just wrote me 6,600 since his death. 6,600 domain names about him. But here's the thing. There's also stuff online that's less insane. That might actually sell. Let's zoom in quickly before I gotta go here. This makes a little more sense. Take a look at this. Rare Michael Jackson. This is an actual platinum Thriller. And you can see they already have a bid at $50,000.
Wow.
That is a collector's item.
I can see people
that
wanting
you can
that.
see happening.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And especially if you have $50,000.
Yeah, if you
to
got it
spend
to
on that.
spare. Yeah, if you're a collector. And this is a signed Michael Jackson top hat. They're asking $4,500. You know, a little more realistic. And on the lighter side, this is Life magazine. You and I talked about this yesterday.
Yeah.
They're asking for a signed copy, $1,400. We'll see. And you know what? this one right here, a little jacket that's, you know, supposed to be like his beaded jacket. They're just asking $26. So there's lighter stuff too. It's a new vintage industry. We'll see in the coming days how it actually sells. We'll keep an eye for it.
Yeah, but then of course you want proof. Is that Al Yankovic's or was that MJ's red jacket? Because remember, he wore one too.
Eat it.
Little spoof. That's all I'm saying. It's what I remember. All right, Josh Lebs, thanks so much.
Thanks,
I'm Frederica Whitfield.
Since his death, the King of Pop has been the king of the pop charts. In fact, in an industry that had been seeing steep declines in CD sales, it's been a huge challenge to keep up with this renewed demand. Here's Eric Hong.
At Reckless Records in Chicago, the King of Pop is selling like one. Everything with Jackson's name on it, gone.
We have to special order and just tell people, you know, you gotta wait.
In this age of declining album interest, sales of Jackson CDs have jumped 4,000%. Amazon's top 10 music sellers are all Jackson, and he's the first performer to sell over 1 million internet tracks in a week.
Definitely now, after his death, I am gonna start collecting.
Jackson's record label Sony has been scrambling to meet demand. Its New Jersey plant churning out CDs, even on this holiday.
Right now it's pretty crazy. It's back up to you can get overtime. They're calling everybody in.
For an artist whose work has often been overshadowed by his dubious personal life, this surge in popularity and profits is perhaps the ultimate vindication.
This is really the opportunity, finally, for people to feel like they can remember what it was that they loved about him.
And retailers expect the trend to continue, perhaps for months, as details about Jackson's death slowly come to light. A long, final encore for an artist whose music remains a thriller. Eric Hong, ABC News, Chicago.